Hello guys and welcome back to another UCL fantasy podcast. This video is going to be so different than others because in today's episode I'm going to talk about the best differential players for UCL fantasy matchday 2. In the term of differential, I mean the player whose ownership is equal or less than 5%, and those guys can bring the difference between our and other teams. The main problem is that many content creators, maybe including me, are just using the same template and the same players when we are creating our limitless, wildcard, or the best team selection episodes. So guys, those players are most popular to pick and those guys' ownership is too high. While also we need the players whose ownership are less than 5%. They are the differentials, they call differentials, and actually they are just bringing the difference between our teams and the other player teams. So guys, before I start the team selection, I want to ask you to subscribe the channel and like this video because it helps me a lot. It is actually the single click for you and help me to reach the milestone, subscribers milestone, which is on the screen right now. And what's the most important, please join in my UCL Fantasy League. I just create the UCL Fantasy League for the first time, so I'll be very happy and I'll be very glad if you join with me. And let's make little competition between us. So guys, the code is on the screen right now and will be in the description and maybe in the comment section if you want. So guys, let's start with the team selection with the goalkeepers and defenders. I'm going to start with Geronimo Rulli from Marseille, who played very well against Real Madrid in the first fixture in the Champions League and just made 13 saves that grabbed him extra 4 points and just conceded 2 goals from Kylian Mbappe, both from penalty spot. So Geronimo Rulli had the match against Ajax and at home against at Marseille a little bit favored, so they are able to make clean sheet, and Geronimo Rulli's ownership was the most important, is 1% at this moment, and also he can be differential for our team. And we can see the next matches also, which is good for him, against Sporting, Atalanta, Newcastle, Union Saint-Gilles, then Liverpool and Brugge. So guys, under the 1% ownership, Geronimo Rulli must be the great differential for our team for the match day 2. Next one is going to be Di Gregorio from Juventus, and that is not the popular statement at this moment, but I know that Juventus and Di Gregorio are not in the best shape at this moment, and they just conceded 4 goals at home against Borussia Dortmund, but actually they are not keen on to concede many goals, and his ownership is only 4% at this moment, less than 5 actually, and the match against Villarreal in a away game, and also Villarreal a little bit struggling to score a goal, so maybe at home, in a away game, Juventus is able to have a clean sheet, or then the match against Real Madrid, I know, which can be difficult, but the rest of the 5 fixtures are like this against Sporting, Bodo Glimt, Paphos, Benfica and Monaco. So Di Gregorio and Juventus, I think, have the ability to have the clean sheet out of maybe under 4 circumstances and just 4 fixtures. So maybe for the match day 2, he is not the one of the best goalkeeper at this moment, but if you want to have the differential and if you are looking for it, Di Gregorio must be an option against Villarreal in a away game. Next one, in defensive line, I'm going to start with Akanji from Inter, and I just talked about in every episode that Inter had a great beginning and great fixtures, and his ownership is 3%, while Akanji plays almost every match in the Inter starting lineup. And the next match is against Slavia Praga at home, so I know that Inter is able to have a clean sheet. There is Union Saint-Gilles and also Kairat at home, so the next 3 fixtures are too good for Akanji. And also, however, he's a differential and his ownership right now is 3%, so if you're looking for one of the best perspective differential defender at this moment in UCL Fantasy, Akanji must be a good option. Next one is Jonathan Tah from Bayern, and the match against Paphos in a away game and then Brugge at home just leaves me no choice to advise you that kind of player as a differential. His ownership is 2%, and Jonathan just loves to score goals, and he's very active in attack. And at defensive line, Ta is good, not the best one, but to be honest, against Paphos and against Brugge, he can be good differential and maybe score a goal against Paphos. Nobody knows from the set piece, because I'm just thinking that Bayern are heavily favorites, and they have no comfortable situation to have the rotation defensive line. Next one is going to be Bukonate from Liverpool, and despite the fact almost in every match Liverpool conceded a goal, I guess that in Turkey against Galatasaray they are able to have maybe clean sheet, because I just think that against Galatasaray, who are not in the best shape, Liverpool is able to have a clean sheet, and Ibrahima Konate's ownership is only 5% at this moment. The next match is against Galatasaray, then Frankfurt. I know the match against Real Madrid will be hard, but there is PSV, Inter, and Marseille and Karabakh. So the calendar is balanced, but if we focus on match day 2, it is also good for Ibu Konate because his ownership is only 5%, and I just don't risk to have Frimpong, Karkash, Robertson, because even Bradley, because Brady, because I just don't know how Arne Slot is going to rotate his defensive line. He just loves to do that in UCL, just like he did even on the first fixture. So I have defensive player Ibu Konate, who is going to be great differential for you for the next fixtures, and also he plays for the starting lineup, and we just have not to predict who are going to be rotated on the flanks. I mean, between Karkash, Robertson, and Frimpong and Brady. The next player is going to be Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea, and the match against Benfica, I guess Chelsea are going to be heavily favorites at home, and they have to win. And even in the moment that Chelsea was beaten by Bayern in the first fixture, and Chalobah just scored an own goal, -1 point because of that, but. You know that Chalobah also loves to score goals from set pieces. He's too good. He scored against United, and there is the match against Benfica at ball recoveries. He's also good, and match against Benfica, Ajax, and Karabakh. Then is Barcelona, Atalanta, I know, but next three fixtures are going to be good, and also his ownership is only 2%. The price is also good, 4.5 million. So having the player whose price is 4.5, and also his ownership and has good the next three fixtures are too good for him. I guess Trevor Chalobah is going to be in our team. Next is Ben Sebaini from the Borussia Dortmund that just scored the penalty against Juventus but conceded 4 goals. I know the defense of Dortmund is not good at all, but against Bilbao and then against Copenhagen, I guess defensive we can rely on Borussia Dortmund defensive line at least for the one match. So ownership is 2%, and nobody knows, and price is 4.5, but nobody knows if Ben Sebaini continues to take penalties. I'm not sure at this moment, and I'm just thinking that that was one example, and Serhou Guirassy continued to take penalties, but nobody knows. In the last season, Emre Can was taking penalties while Guirassy was in a team, and maybe Ben Sebaini is the first choice, and maybe he's going to take penalties. So if you have that kind of player who is defender and actually takes penalties, it's a huge plus for our team. And to be honest, he just scored a very good penalty. He just hit. And I just thinking that under 4.5 million, he's also very good differential, and his ownership, just like I have mentioned, is only 2%. Next two matches are too good against Bilbao at home. The Borussia Dortmund are favorites for me, and also against Copenhagen in a away game. So let's start with the midfield. My midfield line is going to start with Georgian superstar Kvaratskhelia from Paris Saint-Germain, and despite the fact the match against Barcelona, Kvaratskhelia and Barcola and Alvarez are going to be on a counter attack, I guess, and they were able to score a goal and make an assist, and Kvaratskelia's ownership at this moment is only 5%. He just collected 12 points in the first match against Atalanta, just scored a goal and took Man of the Match award. He deserved it. The next match is against Barcelona, then Leverkusen and Bayern, but the rest of the fixtures are going to be against Spurs, Bilbao, Sporting and Newcastle, and I know that must not be the open pick and a common pick for the match day 2 because the match is against Barcelona, but for the next fixtures he can be also differential. So at least 2 or 3 fixtures, next 2 or 3 fixtures, Kvaratskhelia is going to be differential. So his ownership is less than 5%, and he can bring the difference between our and other teams. Next one is going to be Phil Foden, whose ownership at this moment is 4%, and in the Champions League he plays well, better than in the Premier League. And he also took Man of the Match award against Napoli, who could not resist a loss against Manchester City because they left with a 10 man. But Phil Foden plays very well. His price is 8 million at this moment, and against Monaco, who conceded many goals against Brugge, I guess that Phil Foden and City are going to be good. From City, you can have the good picks, and the biggest differential is going to be Phil Foden for me. Ownership, I repeat, is 4%. The price is 8 million, and the next match is against Monaco, then Villarreal, Borussia Dortmund, and Leverkusen. So guys, and Real Madrid, Bodo Glimt, Galatasaray. I know from those fixtures, I guess against Borussia Dortmund and against Real Madrid, it will be too hard to play. But other fixtures are going to be good. And who else but Phil Foden, who plays very well in the Champions League? I guess he can be the one of the biggest differential at this moment. Next is going to be Jude Bellingham, who just returned from an injury and not the best performance against Athletic Bilbao. He took little minutes in the last fixture also against Levante, but to be honest, guys, against Kairat, he must be in a starting lineup. I feel like this, and if he is going to be in a starting lineup, Jude Bellingham will be a great pick. His ownership at this moment is only 4%, and against Kairat, he can redeem himself because you know that Jude Bellingham loves to play maybe a little bit in the front than actual regular midfielder. So he loves to score goals, makes an assist, and I just think that against in a term under Xabi Alonso, he can deliver many huge contribution for our team. So Jude Bellingham against Kairat will be good pick. So if you have the question if he's going to be starting in the starting lineup or not, we just actually lucky and happy because the first match in the Champions League on Tuesday night it is going to be Real Madrid against Kairat. So we will be able to see the starting lineups on the deadline stream. Next is going to be Serge Gnabry and the match against Paphos. The ownership is only 1%. He just delivered. He just starting to score goals, makes an assist. Ownership is only 1%. And the price is 6.5. So as a midfielder, actually he is not expensive, and also ownership is only 1%, and match against Paphos, then Brugge. So he just started to deliver many contribution points in Bundesliga. So I think that he's able to do the same in the Champions League. So against Paphos, who else but Serge Gnabry must redeem himself and score goals because he needs to redeem himself in the Champions League. Next one is going to be Bukayo Saka, and actually I'm too surprised that Saka at this moment is a differential because his ownership is only 1% at this moment, guys, and he just plays very well in the Champions League. The match against Olympiacos at home just leaves me no choice to pick him even under the wild card, under the limitless card, or just under the differential because he just suits everything. Against Olympiacos, I just count Arsenal as the one of the best favorites. So the next match is against Atletico de Madrid and Slavia Praga, and I just thinking that Arsenal will be heavily favorites in those 3 matches, and who else but Bukayo Saka can take all the responsibilities on himself. Some of my viewers are just telling me that Gyökeres is the main penalty taker, but I just thinking that Saka will also take penalties, and actually it will be divided between them. But for me, Saka will be the main penalty taker, and we will see it. It's not all about me, of course, but we can see it on the next fixtures. So Bukayo Saka under 1% will be the great differential for the next fixtures. And also, he has good experience to play Champions League football. And if you played last year Champions League fantasy or 2 years ago, Saka had the huge contribution for those in those campaigns. So guys, let's see my forwards. My differential forwards are going to be Julian Alvarez from Atletico de Madrid because he is just in a brilliant shape. He just scored hat-trick against Rayo Vallecano and double against Real Madrid. He is also the main penalty taker, and Atletico Madrid just start to play good football at least. And against Frankfurt at home, I guess they will be favorites because they lost the match against Liverpool in the Champions League, the first picture. So I guess at home they have to win. The next match is against Arsenal, then Union Saint-Gilles, Inter, PSV, Galatasaray, and Bodo Glimt. So having Julian Alvarez in your team will be also the great option because he just loves to score goals, and against Frankfurt he will be able to do the same. Also he makes assists, and remember he's a main penalty taker. And what's the most important, what differential suits, his ownership is only 2% and price is maybe higher, 9 million, but I think he's worth to have that kind of price. And of course his ownership is too low. He can bring us many differential points if we use it under the free transfers. Next one is going to be Lautaro Martinez, who is back from injury, and his ownership at this moment is 4% only, and he will be the main penalty taker also in Inter. In absence of Lautaro Martinez, Hakan Çalhanoğlu was the main penalty taker, but at this moment Lautaro will take all the responsibilities on himself. And the next match is against Slavia Praga, then Union Saint-Gilles, and then Kairat. Just leaves me no choice to advise you Lautaro Martinez as the one of the key differential at the forward. So guys, this player price is 9.5, not cheaper option, but as a differential he can bring good contribution points for our team. And the last one is going to be Rashford, the match against PSG, and I just think that there are going to be both teams to score. So Marcus Rashford is just in a good shape. His ownership is 4%, and he just took Man of the Match award, deserved double, scored double against Newcastle, 2 brilliant goals in that match. Against PSG, I just think that Rashford has also ability to have that moment to score a goal, because Rafinha is going to miss the match, and nobody knows if Lamine Yamal starts or not because he had an injury. So Marcus Rashford will be in a starting lineup. That's 100%. So at the forward under 7 million price, and the ownership 4%, just takes that he is also almost also good differential. So guys, thank you for watching. This is going to be my differential team. Just remember that it is good to have the most popular picks, but it is also important to have good differential players, because actually those kind of players makes difference between you and the other players. So guys, I'll be very glad if I help you a little bit at least. Thank you for watching. I feel your support, and it is of course appreciated. You can comment down below what would you change in that differential players, or have you better option at this moment. So you can tell me in the comment section, and please subscribe to the channel and like this video, and join in my Champions League Fantasy League. The code is on the screen. Goodbye guys, wish you all the best.